Duper Giant Truck team, trying to take them to the scrapyard, but hang on. Game 2 is around the stage. Maybe they've got some upgrades.
You gotta change something. That's about all I've got. I don't know exactly what you changed. That was your most comfortable style, clearly. Maybe you may now move towards something a bit more meta. Maybe that'll be your change. Maybe that'll be your outlandish idea.
I think my mistake was you put Watley on the Tom Kench, and I mean, it wasn't awful, but we know what other champions he plays, and Mundo is pretty good in this meta. Singes as well. Why don't you put it on something that, I mean, yes, it fits his playstyle, but also actually isn't terrible.
Yes. I don't think the Tam Kench was the issue, though. I think the whole team was constantly falling apart.
I don't think there's a single issue you can narrow down to, but when you're going into game 2, you have to do something.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, Mundo would have maybe died slower.
True. Throwing some cleavers.
Yeah.
Done Mundo things.
And Mundo does a little better into Rumble because you're a natural inbuilt MR. My issue is more so that doesn't help if you're being constantly jumped on by multiple people, if your team's all dying. And one thing to point out is the early games seem to be going okay for them. They seem to, you know, that they almost pulled that 1v1 out in the mid lane, but then they just slowly started to dismantle and then fell apart in the mid game.
I mean, it's what you expect. It's the Misfits Academy versus the #1 Open Division team. You would be disappointed if you didn't see anything other than Demolition. But I mean, I'd love to hear what you guys think of the first performance from Misfits Academy, especially. Hashtag Forge of Champions 1. Tweet us at LVP UK if you have any opinions. Or if not, I mean, this logo behind us from the Super Duper Giant Truck team.
I mean, you got to give them props. Their naming, their branding, it's awesome. Super love that.
I mean, copyright striking coming is all I'm worried about.
Oh, don't play that card.
I mean, yeah. I mean, while it lasts, it's pretty fun. I love it. And they've got a theme shown as well, full of mixer trucks and bulldozers, a crane.
Just the one of each. They aren't going crazy.
Is a crane a truck?
I still don't think a crane's a truck. I think that's ambitious from them.
You know, I'm going to be the first to say this. Going back to building terms, I think Super Duper Giant Truck team was sandbagging. You know, they're trying to give Misfits a false sense of security. They're probably sitting there like, you know, that was an easy game, easy sweep game 2. They're going to bite back and put us into a full series.
I mean, we've all watched Cars. Sometimes to turn, you have to go the other direction. That's what we learned.
Yep.
I mean, I watched Cars, and all I remember was that sequel sucked. Whoa. So let's hope it doesn't get any worse.
I think if game 1 was Cars, then they went off the road and crashed into a ditch and flipped over and set on fire.
Yeah, they were like the dock at the start of the movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah, then there's a redemption. You
know,
in a few years from now. I mean, I'm patient. I can wait, but hopefully we're not kept waiting too much longer. I'm hoping we get into this game too, and they surprise us. I mean, all of us are hoping to be surprised at this point. We don't want another game like that, and hopefully they can show why both the Newell and the Open tournament are worth it.
I mean, the thing is, though, you have to give them credit. The way the Forge of Champions works is that each week you play in the scoring tournament, you earn points. They've made it to the 5th and 8th position so far. This is where they're at in the quarterfinals. If they go out now, they finish on 700 points. They can continuously do that every week, then they're going to playoffs.
They earn some cash money as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I actually spoke to Watley, and he said that he would be spending his money on takeaway. So, credit to him.
I mean,
he could
probably already afford it then.
That's what Venomous Shrew and
have.
Watley have shared kebabs of many, apparently so far during their university experience together. Pixelmans has started Super Duper Giant Truck team, betting away that Lily Talia actually going to be removed from the table from Misfits Academy here.
Realizing it's a really solid first pick, they probably would have expected it to be banned on red side because it wasn't. They first picked it themselves.
Sure.
Makes sense here.
Yeah, it looks like Super Duper Giant Truck team going for very similar balances as before. You know, getting rid of the Nidalee again and Illustrious. Obviously, you've seen Nidalee on Flick's Twitter profile, so no surprises there. Interested to see what they go for the third ban. I mean, you can't just ban every champ they played last game. Maybe the Vladimir.
Yep.
As I say it, yep, because that was obviously a massive problem for them in the last game.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes sense that you remove that. Vel'Koz, Talia, and Syndra are the bans here. That Vel'Koz is an interesting one. You would think it would be maybe towards the mid lane. We have seen some Vel'Koz kind of creeping back into the meta, especially over in LCK. But Venomous Shrew actually loves Vel'Koz as well, and that's where I would more likely expect if it was going to get picked up, it would get picked up in the bot lane. Is this going to be the change?
Please.
No.
Okay.
Singed, there we go.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, that's
yes.
what we want. That's the sort of thing that we want from Watley. Obviously, very experienced Singed player. Would play it even if the champion had like a 3% win rate. So the fact that he's pretty strong right now, obviously favourable. Have been some slight nerfs on patch 8.13. No longer gets the movement speed from his mastery. I forgot which one it was.
Time Warp Tonic.
Time Warp Tonic when he pops his ultimate, and also some stat nerfs on his ult as well. But still, strong champion in this meta, and it's up to Misfits to answer.
And we'll see what they do answer with. Is going to be that Kai'Sa
Pretty good answer.
locked in. I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't complain. Yeah, and I guess Crispig most likely will be on playing as a back on an AD carry. Something he said in the last finals of the Premiership, I mean, I mentioned this earlier, is that he is very confident on the Kai'Sa. So, interesting to see what bot lane combo he'll have, and more importantly, the answer from Anxiety, because Ezreal, I mean, I don't think he's bad on Ezreal last game, but he wasn't really able to handle the pressure from the Vladimir. If you let a Kai'Sa get out of control, it's just going to dominate the game.
I think the most important thing for me is I'm looking at Misfits draft, and they banned the Kai'Sa on blue side, thinking that they don't want to first pick it, but at the same time they think it's super strong.
Sure.
This time they're on red side, they think Talia's first pickable, we ban that, but we get ourselves the Kai'Sa because we know they won't take it. I think genuinely doing this again, they're just picking their own champions.
I mean, yes, but it's a Kindred.
We're predicting the
mid
mid laner coming out here. We're predicting that if White Walker picks his champion, then
it is Morgana or Karthus. Karthus was close to doing well and then quickly fell off. So
they should, if they pick, oh, they're not so full. I mean, this works actually. The concept's the same if they go Ziggs, right? So here's what you do.
Yes.
You get into a big fight in the Kindred ult. Everyone gets low on HP, and my suggestion was you carve this ult. Obviously, you can't now have a Ziggs, so the same concept's there. Everyone inside the Kindred ult, you have a big fight, get everyone low, and then on top, super mega death bomb, and you hopefully win off that.
I mean, it makes sense. It forces Misfits Academy to either make the decision to be, you know, mortal and die, or face a super duper Inferno Mega Bomb at the end of it. Zoe does get picked up from Kenzuki, though, a champion, obviously, that he's looking to try and show his value as a 900 LP challenger.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you got a 900 LP challenger, you abused a lot of Zoe on the way. Interesting to see the what's it called? Kog'Maw ban comes out. That's normally seen as a counter to Kai'Sa, so they are pretty confident that Ziggs is going mid, because it is something that you could send bot lane theoretically. And I know that people, they like shoving strategies against the Kai'Sa. Like I've seen the Heimerdinger work on the way. Ziggs would be similar. You just hard shove the bot lane in, trying to get an advantage from that. So interesting to see where that Ziggs ends up going.
I've actually seen Ziggs Heimer lanes as well that leave Heimer in the support, and then he just rushes his easy rock portal, just hard push the wave.
And the thing is that's really important is Kindred offers AD damage, so they wouldn't be a full AP comp if they did that. So that is something that could come out, but we are speculating quite a bit. Do you see the Braum and the Gnar ban come out? So Gnar, something Watley doesn't want to have to face on this Singed, and Braum obviously just meaning Crossfire can go to discussing things like Sprocket.
I mean, I expect you pick up your support here for Misfits Academy. With Kai'Sa, there's a lot of choices.
I was thinking you go for the Shen here and flex it.
That would be a pretty good pickup.
Ooh, okay, never mind.
You can go for the Kennen.
Technically flexing.
Yeah, I think it makes sense here into the Singe, because they got rid of the Gnar, essentially because Watley didn't want to have to deal with a frustrating range champ, and Kennen's still open, which is a frustrating range champ.
I mean,
So
that's the one thing Watley hates the most in League of Legends is range champions. He actually has refused to play them for his entirety.
I can respect that. I think a lot of top laners can respect that. Shikari's unfortunately turned into Abuser. We are seeing the Morgana come out from White Walker, and this is something that we suggested, is that it may be a Ziggs bot lane. Obviously, we said White Walker likes Morgana, and Karthus has gone for the Morgana,
is so
and
cool.
might well be a Ziggs brand bot lane. And the question we've got to ask is, what does Crossfire pick here? Because you're going to get pushed in no matter what.
And the thing is, it just plays into that Kindred ultimate even more so. You know, everyone's going to have to group up if they want to stay inside that Kindred ultimate.
Yep, and then you can just throw everything in the kitchen sink at them.
Yeah. Even going a little bit more specific though, I like Kindred into Graves. If you play it perfectly, Kindred does have the longer range.
Yes.
And getting overshadowed a bit because I'm interested in seeing how Pyke Kai'Sa plays it.
I think it's an interesting one. I think if you can roam well with Pyke, it'll be good. I think if they overstep and you can punish them, will be good. But I think in a normal, even skill matchup, they're just going to poke you and shove you under the, shove you in really aggressively. But you know, they might be confident after last game that it sort of outskilled them, I guess you could argue. So hoping to do that again, no doubt. And I think Crossfire wanted to sort of do some flashy plays with this Pyke.
Yeah, my worry though is if you're being pushed in, it's always very hard to go roaming because you're effectively handing over a tower, and to Ziggs, that tower gets handed over very quickly. So, I mean, Super Duper Giant Truck Team, the draft looks good. I'd be worried that outright Misfits seem to just outplay them in game regardless of draft, so let's see how it plays out once we actually get in there.
I mean, we asked for something different from the Super Duper Giant Truck team, and they've delivered.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree. I'm going to make a bold statement. This draft is the draft that Super Duper Giant Truck team needs. They're going to absolutely stomp it. They were just sandbagging. I'm confident in them. Last game was just unlucky.
You said during the break that this is it. This is their.
This is the comeback. This is a bounce back.
You know, is what you said.
Quote me on that.
Quote: Ox believes that Super Duper Giant Truck team are going to 2-1.
I've got faith from my boys.
I hope so. I mean, it's a bold draft. I'm definitely excited to see it played out. It's going to require some decent amount of coordination from the university team, Super Duper Giant Truck team, hailing from the University of Exeter. I mean, this is their moment to kind of show up. They've already made it this far. Like mentioned, they've managed to get that 5th to 8th position secured. So that's a bit of income, that's a bit of points as well. And all they have to do week in and week out is continue to make it to this stage. Then they get to go to the playoffs, and they get to go to the grand finals, and they get to really show up. You know, that's what you want to be. You want to be in that 5th to 8th position, and then constantly trying to fight further.
Even looking more short term, though, I think this draft is at least shows that they're willing to adapt.
Yes.
They're not. When we looked at their first draft, we went, this is what they're comfortable with, this is what they've always picked, this is what they might be stuck with now going into game 2. The willingness to adapt, whether this works or not, is still a positive trait because it shows that they're never going to just roll over in a series.
No, that's a really important thing, especially as we start to see more competitive teams start to enter into the Forge of Champions and really try and test the metal. The continuous factor that these 8 Premiership teams will be facing against new challenges each week, each qualifying tournament. So that's the thing that I'm like really loving so far about this. We've already seen Phelan and of course the Super Duper Truck team take out one of those Premiership teams each. It was Barrage and Hyperion who they were able to take down. And so especially if you're one of those Premiership teams who do get invited to the scoring stage week in and week out, they're going to have to up their game. You know, you have to respect these open bracket teams.
Absolutely, and I think that's the thing as well for Super Duper Giant Truck team is even if they don't end up winning the series, I think a key thing for them is they're against the #1 seed from last split.
It's invaluable experience.
You know, they're against an academy team of an LCS team. You know, it's a big opponent to face, and I think the key thing is just not losing your mentality and hoping for a good challenge in the second game. You can't deny the first game was a bit of a stomp. If they put up a better fight next game, that can be the important thing. And the thing is, they're not going to face Misfits week in, week out. You know, yes, they got matched up against them here, but you know, we don't know exactly how things are going to match up in subsequent tournaments, and they might have a chance to face a weaker opponent who they can actually overcome.
And I mean, you have to look at it. I mean, like, Misfits have stomped teams that actually in the Premiership as well. So they are an extremely strong team. It's not just a complete outlier here.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. And, you know, as the qualifying tournaments do progress, the Premiership teams get reshuffled based on what score they end up finishing on, meaning that, you know, you do get a kind of a true representation of who the top teams are week in, week out. And then, you know, if Super Duper Giant Truck team does get bested in the open bracket for the next open bracket, well, they'll be facing up against entirely new opponents, you would think, as well. So, you know, there's always that variety that you're not always coming the same route through when you do make it to this scoring tournament. But that's long term. Short term is right now, how do we play this composition? Already it's very clear the win condition. Try and group up Misfits on top of a Kindred ult and then just show it to them.
And one of the things I'm looking at now is Kindred has much better gank potential than Graves in the early game.
Yeah.
Can you find, especially around the Scuttle contests, a good 2v2?
Well, we'll find out. If you guys have opinions, make sure you tweet them over at us at LVP UK with the hashtag Forge of Champions 1. Would love to hear what you guys do think of this Super Duper Giant Truck team roster and the composition that they've drafted in this tough game against the Misfits Academy. It's definitely an uphill battle. They knew this from the start. It's all about just showing up on the Rift.
I think something as well we missed on Misfits draft was the Kennen pick. Obviously good for laning into the Singe, but if you think about the team fighting from it, we've said how you want to stack up with the Kindred.
Exactly.
You don't want to against the Kennen, you know, so
that's true.
Bit of a counter in terms of that, and so I think that's a good pickup for Misfits.
Especially if Shikari is able to get it rolling. Already picked it into a favorable lane matchup against the Singe, but this is Watley's one true pairing as far as it is concerned. He always plays Singe. It's been with him ever since he started playing League of Legends. It's time to get onto the Rift for this second matchup between the Misfits Academy and the Super Duper Giant Truck team. It's time to dig some holes and try and put Misfits in them.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, best way to do that is 5-man group, but it gets called out. Standard 5-man fan from Misfits covering every entrance means that they're spotted out long before they can really get it rolling.
And of course, Misfits is going to move into the jungle now of the SDGTT and look to try and establish vision control, maybe even steal away this red buff. In fact, they are grouping up in this bush. They're going to bait Super Duper Giant Truck Team into a fight.
They have Pike. If anyone walks over that ward, you can get the hook, and there's a huge amount of quick damage coming down with Zoe, Kaisa, Graves. As long as Super Duper Giant Truck Team do avoid this fight, they'll be okay. Looks like it might be a trade of red buffs.
Yep, makes sense. Moving over towards the red side is going to be Super Duper Giant Truck Team respecting it. There's the vision control just so that they find it out. Maybe Misfits falls back out of it. Nope, they are going to stick around. They know that they have to. Here we go. Red buffs will be traded. We're playing a jungle game on the horizon instead of vertical level. Does change things up a little bit for the early pathing of everyone. Ooh.
Oh, forces the flash.
Love it.
Or forces the smite, sorry.
A flash.
Wow, that would have been impressive. But no, just forces the smite.
I mean, that's the kind of thing I would do. Instead of smiting it, I would panic and flash onto the Ziggs bomb to...
I mean, it happens, right?
Oh, dear. It was a good attempt. I respect the attempt from Anxiety there.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good smite as well. Smart play from the two of them there. And it does leave BB Muffin with potentially early advantageous jungle pathing. And now with the Scuttle actually spawning on his side, will get himself an early mark.
Yes, no, that's nice as well. The changes to Kindred recently and, you know, slight buffs on this newer patch. You can see Prosper kind of showing off this Pike, but so far, it looks like Super Duper Giant Truck Team just allowing them to push in on them. It forces Misfits into an unfavorable position.
I think allowing the push there is fine because you have to be aware that Graves is on your side and Kindred's on the other side of the map. If they decide to send the jungler down, you have zero response. It's fine to let yourself get pushed in here. And now, as they hit their level 2s, maybe want to push back.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, you know, so much pushing power, that does come out of this brand. And this Ziggs, it's just going to be a game of dodging skill shots. Ooh. Great stun as well onto Prosper there. Trying to jump forward is going to take a chunk of damage, of course, though. This Pike heals everything back up based on the damage that he's taken recently. Yeah,
and of course, Pike, having lost a little bit of health growth, having gained armor and MR, the MR, he has to hope will help him in this lane, at least early on. But you can see, very easy for these guys to chunk him out. And you'll see once the level 3 hits, that combo from Brand along with his passive can very quickly take someone out.
Unlucky for BB Muffin, the next marking is currently where Flicked is taking turrets. Oh, here we go. It's going to be the engage. Prosper using the combo onto Anxiety, but Shrew taking it to this Kaisa. First blood for the Brand.
And that's the combo I was talking about. You hit the level 3, you get all 3 things, and then the passive just destroys that Kaisa. Well played from Super Duper Giant Truck Team, and a much better early showing for these guys.
Yeah, here you see Crosshair from in the bush finds Anxiety, but Shrew just holds so firm on Chrisberg, and it just comes through in the end. Anxiety not quite able to find the kill with the bomb, but it does not matter because they've managed to win the bot lane.
For now, at the very least. Kindred actually roaming down in case Pike decides to play up. In the meantime, though, good mid lane trades.
Crossfair does take a bit of damage there. White Walker, though, in trouble. Great prediction play coming out of Kenzuki. And the Ignite ticking away comes through. There's the kill.
Again, well played by him. Watley now struggling against Hikari.
Great flash forward. So Watley's going to just move straight into where Reflect is. And Misfits are striking back on all channels at this point.
I mean, it's not horrible to have your backstop there as BB Muffin. The only camp up is Raptors, so you're probably just looking to reset anyway.
Yep.
Still not the ideal, but let's look at this trade in the mid lane we were just talking about. Good landing of the Q, and then you have the Ignite and the W procs. Just one of them, I think, hit, and it was enough just to counter the health bot. Goodbye.
Sad life for White Walker. Disappears into the ether. 2-1 so far for Misfits, and it's a 1,000 gold lead accrued already for the team in red. Watley continuously roaming on this Singe. It's something we see him do a lot. It looks like they're actually going for the play here. Good root comes through from Morgana. Gonna chuck him over. I think, yeah, just absolute dead. Though the flash comes forward. Now it's going to be the collapse, and there is Muffin going in for the kill. Will find it, but can they get out of this alive? No, Watley will lose his life. So does White Walker. Muffin looking for another. Is going to find it. 2 for this Kindred so far. You want to get a snowballing, but she is going to lose her life eventually. I mean, it's not the worst of trades, I think, for the side of Super Duper Giant Truck Team.
Yeah, they actually got the 2 kills there onto Kindred, and Graves almost making it out the back. BB Muffin willing to play up, gets himself the double kill. And now from here, it's likely actually this tower under a lot of pressure because you roamed Pyke up to that play.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, one thing you don't want to do is leave a Ziggs in a tower. He's going to be able to execute it.
It is something we talked about from the draft, but now it's actually potentially the play here.
Hard committing to it. Kaiser in trouble as Chrisberg actually just finds a kill with the help of Prosper. Venomous Shrew left here trying to return, but he can't. Chrisberg gets the second.
Just can't get the cooldowns back up in time, and Triumph as well, allowing Chrisberg that little bit of extra health to survive the final brand autos.
Tower, though, does go down. That's the most important thing, I think, for the Super Duper Giant Truck team.
Oh, it's actually level 5 on Afflict already.
Yeah.
BB Muffin can't deal with the smoke screen.
Shinkari comes in to kill secure that for his team. I mean, you want it to go to the cannon anyway. He's going to be a major position on your composition. Looks like he's going towards that Vampire. Going to get that lifesteal against this Singed even.
Yep. Just being very careful now towards this mid lane. I think this is the biggest difference we've noticed in both these games. Towards the mid lane, it has been Kenzuke, who is the new player for Misfits, looking to step up. We were talking about how he's this really strong challenger solo player. He's been getting solo plays.
Well, this is very predictable from the Super Duper Giant Truck team. Rotate your pushing squad
4
up,
players.
but it's 4 players on the top side, and a Cannon Alton coming through. The stun onto Shrew means he is dead, and I don't think you're going anywhere. Anxiety, that's the kill. Going over to Chrisberg. Beautiful macro play coming out of Misfits.
Smart response. You knew exactly what was going to happen. You know that they're 2 immobile mages. Quickly pick up what are essentially free kills.
Oh, absolutely, and like mentioned, you know, oh, never mind, Kenzuki going in for this. Looks like Morgana wants to try and change it. Good, Drowsy comes through, but I don't think there's anything that Walker can do. He's just popping out the pool to make sure he secures the minions. Good dodge out. Oh, the stun of the tower!
No!
One more tower hit! He's done it! Outplays from the Morgana!
Wait a second.
Flicked. He's just stopping the Blackport.
Yep, couldn't quite get the kill either. Okay, I think what happened there is you had the Ignite ready from Kenzuke. He wanted to put it in at the last second when he had the kill guaranteed.
Sure.
But if he'd thrown it down that bit earlier, the W movement speed and damage would have definitely secured him that without him being able to be caught under tower. But let's watch it here. Like for here, if he'd already used the Ignite, he would have been able to run up, get the W's off, and get out. Instead, wanted to try kill with the Q, gets caught out at the edge of tower range, and White Walker finds himself what we're going to call an outplay.
Yeah, absolutely. Cloud Drake does get secured, as that was all going for BB Muffin on this Kindred. It's 11-4 so far. Super Duper Giant Truck team showing up just a little bit more. Watley now slightly struggling against this Zoe, is going to get exhausted down, making sure that he can't re-engage onto her. It's not bad from Super Duper Giant Truck team so far. They are definitely, you know, taking little wins here and there.
Yeah, and I mean, their mage bot lane got what they wanted. Unfortunately, they then got punished, and now looks like they're going to be again.
Yeah, Anxiety flashes away.
Oh, wait a minute.
The tower. It's another kill going the way of the Super Duper Giant Truck team. This one for Venomous Shrew on that brand. The tower does fall in the end. Looks like we are still pushing up, but here's that replay of the fight.
Yeah, and I actually really like this here because Prosper decides to play up and gets his full combo actually cancelled out by good hits here. So it's actually a little earlier in the fight first. And we do see just a very quick pickup of Brand just before that. Actually, sorry, I got the replays a little mixed up.
That's all right. Currently is Super Duper Giant Truck team pushing on forward. Shinkari flashing away from Watley's, making sure they respect the Singe play. Now, Super Duper Giant Truck team pushing down this tower here, looking to try and do as much damage, but no mana on the side of Anxiety means that they can't really go any further.
Yeah, you haven't got a lost chapter on your Ziggs yet, just opted into full damage to try go for these out trades. So, do have to back off for now. Lost chapter now built means that you can probably stay in lane indefinitely if you aren't just jumped on and killed.
Looking at the CS around the board, Prosper in fact pushing up onto Venomous Shrew.
Oh.
Not quite able to learn the Bone Skewer, but I think it doesn't matter at this stage. It is going to be Shrew with the broken stopwatch, eventually losing his life. Prosper trying to secure that for his team, wasn't able to. Walker, unfortunately, in a bad place as the Ignite does go down, and all of the damage coming through for the Zoe, as you would expect.
What I will say about that Brand kill, though, is Misfits played it really smart. They all stood in like a really wide triangle, so when Brand did go for the ult, didn't bounce multiple times and potentially take out Chrisberg.
It looks so cute there from Prospect, almost finding the Bone Skewer to pull back Anxiety, able to bounce away just the last second. Looks like they may have found Shikari out of position. A very fast cannon gets flipped on back in the shutdown gold, going the way of Watley. Misfits going to enter immediately with a Rift Herald of their own. And it looks like High Anxiety is going to be in trouble, getting stunned up, and he is put to sleep. Chrisberg able to find the kill.
Yeah, and just good roams forward. This Pike just able to constantly move around the map, getting the CC down, and just the flat damage as well coming out. It's pretty insane. On the other side, Super Duper Giant Truck team, they did pick themselves up a kill. They're still definitely losing, right? They are losing kills here, losing objectives, more importantly, all over the place. But they're finding their own. And certainly a much better showing than game 1.
Looks like they're baiting in a flit here. He's going to get grounded, and BB Muffin is here. The flash away might not be enough to save you. Muffin is just about going to survive that tower. And there's another kill going over to the Kindred.
Yeah, and the Triumph Rock just saving BB Muffin. Certainly the Kindred and the Mage bot lane have looked a lot better this game than their previous choices. But mid lane has continued to struggle.
Yeah, here comes Prosper. The flash missing. White Walker, though, in trouble. Zonya's just to prevent it. The Super Duper Giant bomb from the Zig's not going to do anything. The root keeping Chrisberg up, but it doesn't mean too much. He's going to be able to survive here. Misfits continuing to pressure down this mid lane. Looks like they are going to try and secure it, but the wave kill, of course, from High on Anxiety, pretty good. Means that they can't go for it just yet.
Yeah, right now it's just planning to have a better showing. They got the push in the on one tower. They now need to hope they can find a big fight. As we talked about just in the draft, they could maybe go for a big 5v5, get everyone into Kindred ult. Danger is, of course, this cannon. As if it's full 5v5, he will just shred you apart. It is a D cannon, so it's not the massive amount of burst you might be used to. But at the same time, there's a lot of consistent damage there, and even just the CC.
Yeah, no, I mean, the CC especially, just making sure that you have all of the sustain damage as necessary. Of course, for the Super Duper Giant Truck team, they're not out of it just yet. It's only a 4,000 gold deficit, you know. At this point, it was much higher in the previous game.
And unfortunately, they do have to kind of take that as their consolation, as Misfits still look like the more skilled team, still coming in as the top Premiership team, and looking to cement their spot as the top UK team here.
Anxiety just took so much damage from that tower there as they're all trying to take it up, and here comes Prosper with the execute. He is going to pause the fight for now as Kanzuki will put someone to sleep. Brand, Venomous Shrew, able to pick up the kill onto his opposite number, but eventually does lose his life. BB Muffin going to lay down his ultimate, but it is just for nothing as he will eventually go down. And in the bot lane, Chrisberg's being chased down by Kai'Sa. It does look like Chrisberg will be able to clean that one up.
Yeah, just started running him down there. Singed, probably not used to being chased so effectively, but does end up going down.
Ooh, there's a big Drake. Coming to us on the bottom of your screen, an Infernal for the Misfits to clean up when they want to.
Yeah, they've already got the Rift Herald pushing in the mid lane. Get another chunk on that next tower. Now likely actually just going to steal a few camps and then use the Zoe TP to get back into this fight.
Currently, White Walker having to channel his recall as well. So with Shikari taking that outer tower on the top side, you know that Misfits are going to be able to pressure down this Infernal Drake. Of course, BB Muffin would love to make the play over the wall with the Smite, but I don't think he's going to get in range quick enough. The Smite does come through from a flipped. That's going to be an Infernal Drake for Misfits.
Yeah, it is actually looking like it'll be a full lethality Graves as well. You've got the Electrocute, so once a fight kicks off, just a mass amount of AoE damage, and single target one shot as well if someone walks too far forward. Yeah,
absolutely. Misfits falling back now as the Super Duper Giant Truck team will group up in the mid lane. What do you think they need to do here? I mean, it's a hard task to ask from this this open division team.
They basically have to make picks with either the Morgana or the Brand and find someone out of position and just quickly burst them out. Instead, they're getting picked.
Oh, this is not good. That's going to be Kanzuki deleting Anxiety, and the rest of the fight still going out. Venomous Shrew gets blown up. It's now BB Muffin trying to find a kill, and he does find one before flashing to his death. Chrisberg finds it. putting Watley to sleep. He melts to the Zoe, dodging away from the ultimate from Prospero. Won't get executed just now, but it does look like White Walker is gone for this world. Potentially Watley as well, as he does get spotted out here. Going up instead of down does leave a trail where he goes, and as this all is happening, it is going to be Shikari pushing it down the top side. Flash, yep, available for Kenzuki. Has to be careful though, doesn't want to allow Watley to trade onto him, but it does look like Watley is just running to his death for now.
Shikari just being allowed to take down towers. Benefit of AD Cannon is you also have really strong split push. You can just commit to that. And part of the reason you're going for AD Cannon in this matchup is because you want to just be able to CC Singe consistently. But let's have another look at this fight. Just the amount of damage coming down from both sides is pretty insane. Just the one shot here from Kenzuki.
Where'd he go?
Dead
a better
now.
place, I hope.
And then again, just the Q comes back down once more. Kenzuki's damage is just insane. And that's what we're seeing here in multiple plays. Yep.
I mean, we talked about Kenzuki's role on Misfits Academy and how he had big boots to fill in the form of Special. Seems like he's up for the task. I mean, this is not the team that Misfits really want to test their mettle on just yet. It will come later if they do progress forward. Then they will be going up against Diablos next week in the semi-finals.
Oh no, mistimed on the W unfortunately as well. Means that they don't secure that tower quite yet, but here's the fight.
Yeah, jungle versus jungle. White Walker trying to get into range, but here comes Crispberg over the wall. One kill piece is going to be starting to go the way of Misfits as they find two. Shrew will go down as well, and Watley not in a great position as Kenzuki almost finishes the job. Watley survives for now, but here comes Kenzuki. The satchel to try and survive. A great tag coming through from Crispberg, and that will be the ace for Misfits at the 17-minute mark.
Yeah, they can just push up for this tower here. Everyone's down. No one coming up quick enough to really defend this. They can probably commit to the inhib as well. As a 3-man, they can just take the spot. It really is a 1-man from Kenzuki.
Right. Shikari as well on the bot side. That means that that tower will fall down. The rest of the team can come over and help on out. Misfits really just executing strong here as Kenzuki continues to show up. BB Muffin in a little bit of trouble, stuck between a rock and a hard place, does lose his life to Crispberg in the end. This inhibitor, not long for the world either. Here comes the Mega Bomb, doesn't quite connect where you want it to. Kenzuki continuously showing force from afar, and Misfits going to walk away.
And to their credit, BB Muffin... Okay, let's just let this go down first.
Walk away. I mean, Prospero going for the play there, does get hooked up, rooted down, but there's nothing that Super Duper Giant Truck team can do here. Can't even save Venomous Shrew as much as they tried to. The collateral damage from a flick doing so much damage. Yeah,
there's the full lethality as well, continuing in that Graves build, likely going towards Dustblade next. But what I was going to say is, to their credit, I mean, BB Muffin has somehow, in the middle of this game, going so horribly for his team, 5 kills. I mean, not bad. Like, for a team that struggled to get 1 kill in the last game, they've certainly shown up that little bit better. And you could partly attribute that to the lack of Soraka, but at the same time, just generally finding better picks. Here it is.
He's going for more. Flicked is going to be in trouble. Flashing away, gets the plant over the top. Going to boom his way across. Now White Walker's in the trouble.
Oh, no.
He gets tagged by Crispberg, and I mean, Kenzuki, he's going to do that on Zoe every day of the week. Now it is going to be BB Muffin now. Potentially caught out. Crispberg is definitely hunting for the Kindred. Are going to have to see here.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see now. It's going to be Watley is being taken out here. Shikari's going to find himself now with both inhibs down. They're just going to look for that final one in the top lane.
Yeah, absolutely. The final tower to take down so that they can sweep this game up. Misfits, I'm sure, are already looking forward to their next week matchup against Diablos. Of course, they have to finish this one first. There's the wave clear coming through from the Ziggs. Misfits not really too concerned about it. Able to tank that one up nice and easily. The tower surviving, but Prospero will jump forward and make sure it does go down.
Yeah, and I mean, this will be another 2-0. We've had 2-0s throughout this week, so unfortunate, one could say, but, you know, just the nature of the game.
Hey, Prospero finds a kill. There's 3 for the side of Misfits, and Shikari is pushing down onto the Nexus towers. They're making it look easy here, Misfits, if not a little bit sloppy. 36-10 so far. I mean, the Baron's spawning, but I don't think we care. It's going to be Watley losing his life. Only BB Muffin left to try and keep the base alive as the Nexus towers will fall down. Crispberg flashing forward as BB Muffin tries desperately to get to the fountain, but it will not be to any avail. A 20-minute victory to round off this series. 2-0 to the Misfits Academy. Showing up here like you would expect them to, being the #1 Premiership team. able to take down Super Duper Giant Truck Team, the first team coming out of the open division without even breaking a sweat.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to be looking forward now, as you said, towards Diabolos. And one of the cool things about when you have like a bunch of 2-0s in a row is most of these teams are going through, they didn't really look like they were struggling in a lot of cases.
Right.
Now, if every team wasn't struggling, one of them has to next week.
That's the thing. I mean, anything you want to add to Misfits' performance there?
Well, I think Misfits had a great performance again, and I think it's what they want because they're going into their next match against Diabolos, who again looked dominant today, so it's going to be a close one, no doubt. But credit to Super Duper Giant Truck Team, they did change things up a bit better.
Absolutely.
And yes, it was a one-sided game, but there was a bit of life. There was definitely a bit of life, and that's the thing. It's not about necessarily beating Misfits, because they are obviously one of the favourites for the whole tournament, but you establish yourself as the team who won the open qualifying stage. You got to a fairly decent point in this tournament and have collected some points, so, you know, can't complain too much.
No, not at all. I mean, here's the replays of that game as it did happen, and this was the moment, you know, BB Muffin making plays. He was getting kills in this stage, and he was picking up a couple. He thought maybe this Kindred is going to be a bit of a force.
Yeah, I think the crucial thing is that they completely trashed Afflict's KDA for this tournament.
Yes.
Like, put it in the ground. I think he was the... Yeah, I mean, again, you've seen it start off with him very low on HP, and I think... Wait, is that not the same one?
It is indeed.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so good, let's watch it twice.
Yeah, I mean, that is Afflict getting taken down again, even though it was the same death. But yeah, and Kenzuki actually going down there as well. So, I mean, BB Muffin did well, 2-0 start off. Only kept it going in that direction. And then...
I love this play.
Top, yeah.
Great collapse coming out of Misfits. Knew exactly what Super Duper Giant Truck Team were going to go for here. 4 men into 2 men. Really just shutting down that bot lane for the side of Super Duper Giant Truck Team.
Yeah, I mean, this looked rather impressive. It was rather impressive. At this point, it was Kenzuke was just walking around. He had to hit one ability, and he managed to a few times.
Yes.
So
Ooh, I mean, you see that. I mean, yes, it's going in the direction of Misfits, but you still see, like, my MVP for the side of Super Duper Giant Truck Team has to be BB Muffin, because he really did try, and even in that, this seems like such a one-sided fight. He did manage to get a kill back onto Afflict, and you look at their scores, they're both 4 kills, 4 deaths. All things considered. I mean, you can see him dueling here. He nearly actually takes Afflict out.
He does.
And does in the end. So, you know, great play all around from him, and I think that's the shining light of Super Duper Giant Truck Team.
Yeah, I mean, take that home. I mean, I'll definitely take it. Irish team, like the Irish player, something good kind of happened for Ireland.
Imagine if they had 5 Irish players. That's what you got to think.
Exactly.
That's what they need.
Yeah. 5 Irish players at that level would be great.
Yeah, well, we can hope. Maybe you can go and
soon
have a look for them, see if you can find some other Irish players at that level.
Go shake some trees back home, see if any fall
Is
out.
that where they're hiding? Then you have to follow the rainbows in Ireland.
Apparently not, because only the one followed it.
Oh, yeah, true. True.
I mean, well, let's just quickly recap how today went, and, you know, looked at all the matches. Like you mentioned, it was 2-0s across the board for everywhere, as well as yesterday's. But there you have it. You know, Wind and Rain will be progressing to play M&M as well, Diabolos, and of course the Misfits Academy. 2-0s across the board. Next week, though, we'll have our semi-finals and our finals for the first of these qualifying tournaments. We'll have to see which one of these teams does manage to push all the way through and grab that number one place.
Yeah, I think the big ones to talk about are obviously the middle two. XL vs M&M, that definitely was an upset.
Yes.
Credit to M&M, they played very well, but they managed to sit down a team who looked great coming out of EU Masters and also great in last split. And then, I mean, the other one's Enclave vs Diabolos. I wouldn't really say this is an upset as such, because they're very closely matched. One team came 4th last split, one team came 5th, but for them to be that far ahead, and it was frankly a dominant 2-0. Yes, the second game they had a bit more life, but still, I mean, Enclave need to bounce back from that for the next tournament if they want to prove they're still in this.
Yeah, and I think looking forward, I'm most interested in how M&M face up against Wind and Rain. That looks like a super interesting matchup for me, as they both look relatively comfortable in their 2-0s.
I mean, let's have a look at the bracket and see exactly what is going to happen here. It is, of course, going to be Wind and Rain playing up against M&M Gaming, who upset XL yesterday. Diabolos eSports will be facing up against the #1 spot of Misfits Academy. Those semi-finals will be coming to us next week with the final of this first qualifying tournament happening as well. I mean, If you missed any of the games, we have the YouTube channel available so that you guys can catch up on all the VODs, maybe scout out a potential Open Division team. Head on over to youtube.com/LVP space UK. That's the YouTube channel. All VODs getting uploaded the day after. And make sure you tweeted us on Twitter, LVP UK, hashtag Forge of Champions 1. Would love to hear your thoughts on the first of these broadcasts. It's brand new, it's brand spanking new, and I really love it.
Yeah, I mean, we enjoyed it at the very least. Let's see how Twitter enjoyed it. Hopefully they did too. I think it was fun.
Yeah, I think they have as well, and I'm honestly really looking forward to next week because, I mean, they have all been 2-0s. There were definitely some closer games, but next week, I mean, I really think there's going to be some battles because Misfits and Diabolus is a huge one. Misfits obviously the undefeated team, but Diabolus, they brought in this new roster. They look so competitive there. They look like they really could challenge them. And again, Wyndham Rain and M&M, maybe not, they didn't come into this as being seen as the strongest rosters, but definitely on the top end. And M&M really surprised and showed up, so credit to them. And interesting to see if they can do it again against Wyndham Rain.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think M&M looked so strong, and I want to see if they can continue forward.
I mean, that's the main thing, is consistency here at the Forge of Champions. Don't forget, if you like what you see and you want to be a part of it, head on over to forgeofchampions.com, where you can sign up your team for the second of these open brackets starting on July the 6th. And if you're a solo player and you just want to find a team, then we'll do that for you. Sign up and we'll match you with people around the same elo as yourself. Next week, the fun does continue. Make sure to tune in on Wednesday and Thursday at 6 PM British Standard Time for the semi-finals of this first qualifying tournament. On behalf of Ox and Celtic Tiger, who joined me today, I've been Dowsey. We've been the LVP UK. We'll catch you all next week.
Thanks for watching.